The street was quiet that evening. Not empty, just still in a way that felt normal. A soft breeze moved the leaves. Somewhere far away, a dog barked once, then stopped. Nothing felt wrong. But days later, when people tried to understand what happened, one sentence kept coming back. She had already written about it. About him. Alia Khan was not the kind of girl people noticed easily. She was 16, quiet, always on time, the type who followed the same path every day without thinking about it. School, then home. Sometimes she stopped by her friend's house. Sometimes she didn't. But her routine never really changed. And maybe that was the problem. Her town was small. Not the kind where everyone knew everyone, but close enough. A few shops, a narrow road cutting through rows of houses. Fields stretching out behind them, dry and open. Safe, people would say. Safe enough. Alia walked that road every afternoon. Same route, every day. If someone wanted to notice her, it wouldn't be hard. It started with something small, so small that even she wasn't sure if it mattered. One afternoon, as she turned the corner near the old electric pole, she slowed down for a second. She didn't know why. It was just a feeling, like someone had been standing there just before she arrived. The ground near the pole had marks, shoe marks, fresh ones. But when she looked around, there was no one. Just the quiet road again. She kept walking. But that night she opened her phone and typed something. A short note. No big explanation, just a line. Same corner. Felt like someone left right before I got there. She didn't show it to anyone. Why would she? It sounded small, even to her. But she saved it. The next day, it happened again. Not the same thing, just something similar. As she walked past the small grocery shop, she noticed a motorbike parked across the street. The engine was off, but it looked like it had just been used. She didn't remember seeing it before, not in that spot. She glanced at it once, then again. The shop owner would later remember something small. Someone had been standing near the electric pole earlier, not buying anything, not talking to anyone, just looking down the road. He didn't stay long, and no one thought to ask why. At the time, it meant nothing. Later, it became one of the only details that did. There was no number plate in the front, and the seat was slightly warm when she passed close enough to feel it. She didn't stop, didn't tell anyone. That night, another note. Bike near shop. No plate. Felt new. That night, something changed. When Alia reached home, she stopped near the gate for a second. It was quiet, too quiet. Then she noticed it, the same motorbike, not near the shop this time. Closer, parked at the end of her street, engine off, no one around. But this time, it didn't feel random. It felt like it followed her. Days passed. The notes continued. Small things, always small. A figure across the road, gone when she looked again. Footsteps behind her, stopping when she slowed down. A car that drove past slowly, twice. Each time she told herself the same thing. It's nothing, you're overthinking. But one night, she didn't write a full note. Just one word. Close. But still. She kept writing. Her notes were not like a diary. No emotions, no long stories. Just patterns, times, places, details. Almost like she was trying to prove something, even if she didn't know what yet. One evening, her friend Sana walked with her part of the way home. They talked about school, exams, normal things. At the crossing near the narrow lane, Sana stopped. "My house is this way," she said, pointing left. Alia nodded. "Okay, see you tomorrow. Message me when you reach," Sana added casually. Alia gave a small smile. "I always do." They separated. Sana turned left. Alia continued straight. That was the last time anyone clearly saw her walking home. The distance from that point to her house was short. 7 minutes, 8 if she walked slowly. The road ahead had fewer houses, A long stretch with open land on one side and a broken boundary wall on the other. People passed through it every day. Nothing unusual. At 5:12 p.m., Alia was last seen by a shopkeeper at the edge of that road. She walked past him quietly, like always. No rush, no sign of fear, just normal. At 5:20 p.m., her mother called her. No answer. That wasn't strange. Sometimes Alia kept her phone in her bag. At 5:28 p.m., her mother called again. Still no answer. Now it felt slightly off. Alia never ignored calls when she was on the way home. At 5:40 p.m., her father stepped outside the house and looked down the road. No sign of her. The evening light had started to fade just a little. That quiet feeling was still there. By 6 p.m., the first worry turned into something heavier. Calls were made. Neighbors were asked. Sana was contacted. "She left me at the crossing," Sana said. "She was going home." That was it. That was the last confirmed point. Search began quickly. The road she always walked, the small lane, the open field. Nothing. No bag, no phone, no clear sign of anything happening. Then, just before dark, someone found something near the broken boundary wall, partly hidden in the grass. Alia's shoe, only one. It was lying on its side as if it had slipped off or been pulled. There were no clear drag marks, no blood, no broken branches, just the shoe. Police arrived that night. At first, they treated it like a missing person case. Maybe she wandered off. Maybe she went somewhere without telling. Maybe it was something simple. But the shoe didn't feel simple. The next morning, officers walked the same path again, step by step, looking for anything. One of them stopped near the electric pole Alia used to pass every day. He looked down. Faint marks, shoe prints. Not just one set, more than one. Some older, some newer, hard to tell. At her home, her parents searched her room. Nothing unusual. Books, clothes, school things, everything in place. Too normal. Then her older brother picked up her phone charger. It was still plugged in, which meant she had taken her phone with her. But the phone was gone. By the third day, the town started to change. People spoke in lower voices. Parents told their children to come home early. That safe feeling started to crack. Police questioned people from the area. The shopkeeper, neighbors, anyone who might have seen something. Descriptions came in: a bike, maybe. A man near the road? Not sure. One detail repeated more than the others. Not clearly, not strongly, just often enough to notice. A man who worked around the area, fixing things, moving between houses. No fixed timing, always nearby but never remembered for long. A car passed twice. Nothing clear, nothing strong. Days turned into a week. No new evidence, no confirmed suspect. The case slowed down, but inside Alia's phone, there was something no one had seen yet. Those small notes, those patterns, those quiet observations she never shared. Somewhere in those lines, she had already noticed him. Not clearly, not completely, but enough to feel something was wrong. And the most important detail she'd written about the same presence. More than once. Same place. Same timing. Same feeling. If someone had read those notes earlier, would anything have changed, or was it already too late? For weeks, nothing changed. The road where Alia disappeared slowly returned to normal. People still walked through it, but faster now. Fewer stopped to talk. Fewer stayed out after sunset. The broken boundary wall remained the same. So did the electric pole. Only one thing was different. Everyone looked twice before passing. The police file grew thicker, but not clearer. Details came in, but nothing connected. The motorbike someone mentioned, never found. The man near the road, no proper description. The car seen twice. No number, no direction. Everything felt close, but never close enough. After a month, the case began to fade. Not completely, but enough. Officers were reassigned. Search efforts slowed. People stopped expecting news every day. Alia's house became quieter. Her room stayed untouched, as if she might walk back in at any moment. But she didn't. The truth was never lost. It was just not found in time. Because everything Alia noticed, every step, every sound, every detail was still there, locked inside something no one thought to check. And when it was finally opened, it didn't just bring the case back, it revealed something worse. She hadn't been guessing. She had been tracking him. Not many, just enough for people to stop talking about it openly, but not enough to forget. And then, something small brought everything back. It started during a cleanup. An old storage space behind Sana's house was being cleared. Boxes, broken furniture, unused things from years ago. Dust filled the air as items were moved one by one. Nothing important, until one small device slipped out from the side of a box. A cracked phone, old, slightly damaged, not recognized at first. But when Sana picked it up, something about it felt familiar. It took time to confirm, but the IMEI matched. The phone belonged to Alia. The room went silent. Police were called again. The device was taken carefully, examined, cleaned. At first, it seemed useless. The screen was broken, the battery dead. But inside, the data was still there. When they finally accessed it, they didn't find messages. No dramatic recordings. No clear final call. What they found were notes. Dozens of them. Short, simple, repeated. Each one had a time, a place, a detail. Same footsteps again. Slow, stops when I stop. White bike today, no plate again. Corner pole, someone there before me. Car passed twice, dark windows. The officers read through them quietly, line by line, day by day. The pattern started forming. This wasn't random. Someone had been there more than once. Not watching once. Not twice. Repeatedly. Then they found something else. A slightly longer note, different from the others. I think it's the same person. Not sure. Seen near Chopin Road. Feels close. That was the first time she wrote it clearly. Not fear, not confusion, recognition, but she never told anyone. The investigation reopened. This time, the focus changed. Not what happened that day, but who had been there before that day. Officers went back to old statements, old interviews, old faces. One name came up again. Not strongly, just repeatedly. A local repair worker, Rashid. He had been seen in the area often. Fixed electric lines, moved between houses. No fixed schedule, no reason to question him back then. But now, the notes matched his movements. The electric pole, the road, the timing. When police visited his house, he wasn't there. He hadn't been there for years. Neighbor said he left shortly after Alia disappeared. No clear reason. Just left. That detail had been ignored before. People move all the time. It didn't seem important. Now it did. Further digging revealed something else. Rashid owned a motorbike. White. No front plate. And a car. Old model. Dark windows. The same small details Alia had written. Without knowing fully, but noticing enough. Search teams tried to track him. Old records, work history, phone logs. But too much time had passed. He had no strong digital trail, no fixed location. The case moved forward, but slowly. There was no body, no direct evidence, no witness who saw him take her. Only patterns, only presence, only the feeling Alia had written again and again. Someone is there. In the end, police labeled him as a primary suspect, but not enough to charge, not enough to close the case. And that became the hardest part. Alia had noticed him, not completely, not with full certainty, but enough to feel something was wrong. She recorded it, carefully, quietly, but no one heard it in time. Her notes remained hidden until years later, when they were no longer warnings, only evidence of what had already happened. The road still exists. The pole still stands. People still walk that path. But sometimes, when someone passes that corner, they feel something, just for a second, like someone had been there right before they arrived. And the question still remains if someone had read her notes earlier. Would she still be here? Or was the danger already too close to escape? And maybe the most disturbing part? She wasn't trying to escape. She was trying to understand someone who was already too close.